A very good morning to all the viewers across the globe. This is Sree Iyer, PGurus editor, welcoming you back to our daily update with Sridhar. As always, it's a pleasure to have Sridhar Chityala's company. Sridhar ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskaram and good morning to all, and good evening to folks in India, and good afternoon to people in Europe.
Viewers, before I hand off control to Sridhar ji, I would like to give you a very good reason for why you should be following PGurus. PGurus took a principled stand on three different countries. PGurus supported Narendra Modi in the 2019 elections, PGurus supported conservatives in the United Kingdom elections, and PGurus supported Republicans in the United States election. And looks like all three bets of ours are going to come off. The election has not been called in 9 states, but it is leaning towards Trump. 2 for Biden and 7 for Trump. And when the dust settles, we will see that Trump would have won this election. Again, this is basically a call on our part. And to get a little bit more perspective, a little bit more in depth, because there are lots of Senate races that have gone unexpectedly in favor of somebody, and we are going to talk about all that stuff. Sridhar ji, take it away.
Morning. Yes, indeed, sir. So it's been a fascinating election, and many unusual things, which is, for the first time, 100 million people, close to 100 million people voted ahead of the election day. A large number of people came in. It was orderly, organized, and people exercised their franchise in the oldest democracy. That's a kind of a telling lesson to the world that democracy does work and does function and works very seamlessly. Wide participation rate from all communities, minority, majority, et cetera, all ethnic backgrounds and so on and so forth. I wish we had a very clear and very definitive outcome, which is the direction we were heading to. And but we are where we are right now here. Whether it'll take 24 hours, whether it'll take 1 week, it's a matter of how the process would work and whether there is going to be any legal intervention. That would kind of determine the outcome. But as far as both sides are staking claim that they are holding the lead in either the unannounced states of Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. But last night, when you look at the numbers, Georgia was clearly, Trump was leading. Then you have North Carolina as well, and Pennsylvania. I mean, one can debate, but the story is there again. He was leading, and probably in Wisconsin there was the lead had changed to hairline, but there again, Trump was to come back. So but then you have all these complexities of state legislatures enacting laws as to how the process maps out in the end in the counting and as well as the voting and the deadlines. So that will determine, in my view, the outcome. But the Trump team is confident as much as Biden's team is confident. The three key messages that I would like to leave for everybody is, and we have stated this time and time again, the pollsters were wrong. Were wrong, abysmally wrong. There was no 10 basis points, there was no 12 points, there was no 15% points. Almost right till the tip of the campaign, end of the campaign, President Trump was leading the popular vote, contrary. So the pollsters cannot be so widely apart, right? So obviously there's some question, number one. Number two, the second message is there was no blue wave. There was no blue wave. So let's be very clear. So there was no blue wave. So it was red defense and possibly in conjunction with red offense that has helped Republicans to be where they are, which is what they have been saying. Number three, money does not win elections. That is very clearly established. Number ranges from 75 million to 100 million in Kentucky for McConnell, which McConnell won. The number is somewhere around 60, 65 million against Lindsey Graham. Lindsey won. This money has been put in Susan Collins, but she is leading in Maine. So you can see that when it comes to exercising people's franchise, United States demonstrated that money does not win. 98% of the billionaires' wealth, which we pointed out yesterday, went to the Democratic Party. That's by press reports.
Well, the Senate races have actually gone unexpectedly in favor of Republicans. It was expected that Republicans might, in fact, lose the Senate. So far, I've only seen one flip, which was in Colorado. Hickenlooper has won against his Republican contestant, and that is one plus for Democrats. How do you see the House races, sir? I see that Ilhan Omar seems to be leading, and I don't know about the Indian American candidates in enough detail, but we will have a little bit more information for you when we are coming back again on a wider panel of Hangout in about an hour's time. Do join us for that one too. I know I'm pitching for another program because we are still gathering a lot of information. We'll have more information in that program. That's going to start at 8 p.m. IST. Along with Sridhar Chityalaji, we'll have Professor M.D. Nalapat and T.V. Mohandas Pai. So back to this programming schedule, sir. You mentioned that Trump is expected to win in many of these remaining counts. And if I look at the number of the percentage of votes that have been counted, there is some dichotomy I see. Yesterday, before I went to sleep, I had seen that Pennsylvania's count stood at like 80%, and today I see that it has come down to 74. So there is some numbering mismatches that is coming up. There is something there that is not quite, I don't know what to say. The people, all the counting stations, actually, they went to sleep at sometime around midnight, an hour after that. So those will resume presumably in about 15-20 minutes time, and then the count will start again. Now, in terms of process, the United States does not have a national election commission, isn't it? The results have to be declared at the state-wise, or is it even at the county-wise? Can you please throw a little bit of light on the technical process?
The rules are passed by the state legislature. The state legislature passes the rules, and that then gets extended to the various forms of government within the state. And it is not contestable. The state legislature thing is not. What is contestable is the process within the framework of what the state has passed. From the perspective of the conduct of the elections within the state and the announcement of the results. So therefore, I think that that's the process. That is why it varies from state to state. You will see inconsistencies, but then there are state nuances. That's why the United States is a federation, right? So therefore, you have laws enacted that appropriately fits that specific state.
So just to understand this, 20 years ago, when the Florida election was in doubt, I happened to be in Florida. I happened to be in Miami-Dade County, which is exactly the place where all this counting was going on, manual counting was going on. I was supposed to vacation, but I ended up sitting in front of the TV most of the time because you had this new words called Chad, Chadless, hanging Chad, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately for Al Gore, he ended up on the losing side, even though the manual count taken by a newspaper in Florida said that after 6-8 weeks, after the Supreme Court of America had ruled that it's going to go in Bush's favor, that he had actually won Florida, but that is only for academic records. Everything was sealed. So in this particular case, see, one of the challenges that all these states face is the fact that close to 102 million votes were mailed in before the election even started. That's a big number. That's the first time that US has had such a huge volume of votes that were mailed in, and some of these mailed in, you have to visually inspect them. It is not something where you can just feed it into the scanner and then let the scanner spit out the result. That's how it used to be. But there is going to be a little bit more work. And I know for a fact that there is one Senate race that is really unusual, that Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, he has been asking people to write in his name. There is an official Republican contender for Senate. There is an official Democrat, and Shiva Ayyadurai has inserted himself into this one and said that you can handwrite my name, and that means that all the Massachusetts vote will have to be hand scanned and looked at, especially for the Senate race. And I don't know where the status of that is. We will update you with that also in an hour's time. But let us take a look at economy and markets worldwide. How are they doing, sir?
Well, the betting went up and down last night, and when they saw indications of potential Trump and clarity around the victory, it swung towards President Trump from Biden. The same thing happened in the markets. The stock markets were up, particularly Nasdaq futures went up to almost 4%, and then they applied the circuit breakers, to the futures. So the market seem to indicate, towards a potential Trump win in terms of the continuation of the existing, pro-market policies, right? So the markets, even today, Dow is up 0.7%. S&P is up. Last time when I looked at it, is around 1.3, 1.7%, and then the Nasdaq futures was up around close to 3%. So there's still a positive sentiment that a pro-market. It does not mean a Biden victory will dampen the hopes, because it simply implies that there's a known and there is going to be a new person, but there is a positive feeling that he will continue with a larger stimulus. The issue is around the tax. So the question of market seems to be reconciling to the fact that there will be a positive continuation of the monetary and as well as the fiscal policy, low interest rates and higher stimulus.
I just want you to have answer a few hypotheticals, sir, because this is not going to be held against you or anything like that. But should Trump come back, how much of his team do you think will return?
It's a great question. Trump is as unpredictable as one can kind of think of, right? So therefore, there's nothing one can speculate as to what would. But I can give my own kind of impressions and opinion. I think Pompeo has done a good job, and I think we discussed it yesterday that there is a possibility of Mr. Suga, the Japanese Prime Minister, coming down as early as end of November or mid-December. If the Trump administration continues, because it won't be a lame duck. Obviously, if Biden wins the election, then that meeting is now deferred to end of January. So therefore, I think there's a reasonable element of comfort that Pompeo will continue. Mnuchin has made it very clear that he would like to come back. He likes his boss. He seems to have done well. Only in the last few days there was the hiccup around the get the stimulus thing done, right? So, but he's done an outstanding job in terms of managing the economy. There's no contest with the Fed will continue. Jerome Powell has done an outstanding job towing the line and pro stimulus and pro zero rate policy, which is market friendly. As far as Esper is concerned, he's been a low profile and he has done a great job. And he was in India last week. He visited with Pompeo the 6 countries. So I think that there is a general stability in terms of the people that he has had around him in key portfolios, which is Treasury, State, and Defense.
Now take the other side. If there is going to be a Biden government, do you see any candidates showing up, for example, Treasury Secretary and Secretary of State and so on and so forth? Do you have any predictions on those, sir?
No, I don't. I think that they're keeping it, a closely guarded secret. So, but Democrats have a very strong bench. They've been in power. Many people come from Wall Street, very similar to on the Treasury side, right? They've come from the Wall Street. State, would be one of the n number of candidates who are sitting there. I mean, just as the vice presidential candidacy was quite unexpected, if I have to say. But she's done a great job. Kamala Harris has done a great job with Biden. So you will. I can't speculate what the Biden team will look like.
Well, that brings us to a close on this segment of our daily update. Do join us tomorrow. We'll have more updates for you. Hopefully, the air will clear on some of these contests, and we will give you all the updates. As always, it's a pleasure having you with us, Sridhar ji. And viewers, please do not forget to tune in again in 1 hour's time, where we are going to have a slightly more detailed discussion. Thank you once again, Sridhar ji, and talk to you soon.
Thank you. Namaskar.